Alright everybody, welcome to Inverted Access. I'm Brett, here showing you some things that are going on with Stardew Valley, and I've been playing this game for quite a while. I have probably 50 or 60 hours into it, and really like it. And I know Matt is going to love this video. He was expressing on the podcast how much he loved games like this, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy it the most. But I know I've been talking about it a lot on the podcast. I just wanted to take you through a day in the life of Stardew Valley, and we're just going to go through everything. And yeah, I'll just explain things as I'm going. We're going to take a tour of the farm, do a couple things on the farm, and then I'll do a walkthrough of the town and show you the villagers and stuff. So what you guys are looking at right now is the inventory menu, and here's all your subset menus. You got the map of the town here. You have your friendship levels here with all the different people and all the villagers that are in the town, and there's interactions that you have with them throughout the day and throughout the months and years, and you can raise their heart level, and you end up getting buffs and advantages from them as you raise their level. These over here are presents that you can give your villagers, two presents each week, not including their birthday present. And as the hearts go up on the characters, you'll have better items that you'll get from them. For example, most people, as you work their levels up, they'll give you like recipes and stuff that you can cook, and these recipes will need ingredients put together, and they make different things that give you buffs, like I was saying before, where like for example, where is he at? This guy Shane here, he once you get him up to heart level 4, he sends you a recipe for what's called pepper poppers, and if you make that, it gives you a speed buff and then also a farming buff. So not all stuff does that for you, but there's certain things that are worth working up people's skill levels for and friendship levels to get things from them. So you have certain characters that are single, as you can see the example here with Maru. She's single. There's 5 or 6 women, I think it's 6 women and 6 males, 6 men that are single in the game, and as you work their heart level up, you can eventually start dating them, and then one of them you can propose to and marry, have kids, and then they come over to your farm and help you do shit throughout the day. So as you can see here, it says I have 2 girlfriends. There's it's not a bug or a thing, it's not a forgotten thing in the game, but once you get the single characters up to heart level 8, you can give them this little bouquet that you can buy, and then they're officially your girlfriend. There is a possibility of you being able to make everyone your girlfriend, or I guess boyfriend. Apparently, depending on who you choose, male or female character, there's no distinguished problem with same-sex relationships. So essentially you could have all single bachelorette and bachelors as girlfriend or boyfriend, I guess. So once you get them up to heart level 8, give them the bouquet, they're now officially your girlfriend. And then as you can see here, Emily, for example, she's at 7, still single, and these 2 heart 9 and 10 are blocked out. So you can't access those until you give them the bouquet. Once you give them the bouquet, it opens up 10 and 11, and then once you get to 10, then you can propose to them and marry them. So that's just the characters throughout the day. In order to gain heart levels from them, you give them gifts and stuff and talk to them. There's all kinds of stuff in this game. The game is super extensive, and there's a lot going on, and it can seem overwhelming at first when you're playing it, but there's so much time in the game, and there's nothing really that's time sensitive, so you can take everything at your own pace and just play it how you want to. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh, I got to focus on this person down here, you don't have to worry about that. You can come back to them at some later time and work them up individually. So yeah, it's kind of a nice thing. There's just so much to do. So with the friendship levels, when you talk to people each day, it gives you 20 points. There's no actual number value that you can see, but developer has released information where each heart is 250 friendship points. You get 20 a day for talking to them. You get a certain number for giving them a gift, and each character has loves, likes, neutrals, dislikes, and hatreds towards all different gifts, and everybody's different, and there's depending on what level of gift you give them and how much they like it, it gives them more, or it even takes away points. If you don't talk to people, depending on the heart level, it takes a certain amount of points off each day. The higher the heart level, the less points it takes, but the lower, the more it takes each day that you don't speak with them. Giving them gifts, you can only do 2 a week, like I said before, and it ends up if you give them a birthday gift, which you'll see here on the calendar. We're in summer, year 2, obviously, so each of these days is represented, and they tell you whose birthday is on what day. But there's multipliers for said gifts given on birthdays. It's a 8 times multiplier on a birthday, and there's a couple other events like this one, Dancing Moonlight Jellies and the Luau. These don't, but there are certain events throughout the year that give you different multipliers. There's a Christmas Day event that you have a Secret Santa recipient, and it's a 5 times multiplier if you give them a gift on that day. So all different things to get your friendship level up. So as you can see, we'll go back to the menu so I can keep the time paused up here. So it's 10:10 a.m. You start the day out at 6 a.m. I've already gone outside on this day and watered the majority of the crops that are on my farm. And the reason I did that is because watering them can be kind of monotonous. It's one of the most time-consuming things in the game, and we'll get to some advantages of watering and certain items that can help you out, because I have a couple on the farm, but I don't have a lot. So it still takes me roughly 3 hours to water everything in the morning, and that's before harvest or anything else. So yeah, you burn quite a bit of time doing certain things during the spring, summer, and fall seasons. Those are the only seasons you can actually grow crops. The winter you can't grow anything. You can grow stuff in a greenhouse, which I'll show you guys on my farm, but that's not up and running yet. I still have to do a bunch of stuff to get that working. So the time up here goes in 10 minutes each hour, and I think that each 10 minutes is about 6 or 7 real-time seconds. So the day goes by. The day can go by quickly without you paying attention to it. Time doesn't pass when you're in menus. Time also doesn't pass when you're interacting with stuff like this. It's asking me if I want to eat this hot pepper that I was just holding. So time won't pass right now. Time will also not pass if you're looking at any type of subset menu too, which is kind of nice. So what I end up finding out is I'll go places and I'll just click on something, and it'll just so I can focus on doing things. And you find out that if you're going in and out of boxes and menus and talking to people, time won't pass unless you're not interacting with anything. So a day can last a lot longer than you're prepared for as you're playing. So this is my house, and yeah, it's a couple cool things in here. Everything on the wall, like all types of decorations you can put up, a special chair, all this crap's decorations from completing specific tasks. Calendar up here to check everybody's birthdays and keep an eye on the days of the week and stuff, because there's special events that happen each day specific to certain characters. So right here, this thing's kind of cool. I was going to touch on that since it's wiggling there. It's a special item that you get that ends up, you can, if I can get it out of the menu, so you can put gems and stuff in there, and it duplicates them. So right now I have it pumping out diamonds. I put a diamond in there, and diamond gives you a really good resale value, so I just put one in, and every like 6 or 7 days it creates a new one, grab it out of there, and then it just keeps creating diamonds endlessly. So might seem like, as I describe it, as something that's a little bit of a cheat, but it's not. It takes 7 days to make a diamond that I sell for $600. So it's nice to have, but it just does its own thing there, and I let it go. So TV tells you the weather report each day. So I was going to record yesterday, the day that I played yesterday, but in the in-game, but it was raining, and there's not a whole lot to do when it's raining. You don't have to water anything. The rain waters out, obviously, and I usually focus on rain days as going to talk to villagers that I haven't talked to in a while, and or going up into the mine and fighting monsters and just doing like getting gems and ore and stuff, and just resource collecting basically. So stove here, you can cook all different types of dishes. Dishes that are highlighted like this, as you can see, it's lit up compared to this one. That means I have the correct inventory in my backpack that I can actually create this. Anything that's darkened but still tells me what it is something that I have a recipe for, but I just don't have the ingredients. And then stuff that I haven't figured out what it is yet is obviously marked in question marks like that. So there's a bunch of stuff you can cook. Second screen here, and first screen there. So I really don't have a whole lot I can cook. There's tons of achievements in this game. One of them is creating one of every dish, so I still have a long way to go to get that achievement, but it should be pretty fun to do. One of the issues with creating stuff is like this, for example, bread, cranberries and hazelnuts. I've made cranberries and hazelnuts, or I've forged the hazelnuts, because the hazelnuts you pick up as you walk around in the game, the cranberries you grow. The bread, I haven't had the opportunity to make bread ever yet, so that's something, like, even though I could make these, I don't have the ingredients for them or the ability to make them. And one of the difficult things with the game is you have all these ingredients that you need to make these items with, but you, for example, let's see if I can find one here. This might be a good example. So cranberries you grow in the fall, but hazelnuts you forage in the summer. So you have two vastly different times that you have to plan to get these things. And when money's critical, you're collecting things and you're constantly selling them to make money. So it kind of plays at it where you have to plan to be doing things, or get to yourself in a monetary setting enough that you don't need to be selling everything, and you can just start collecting and storing everything to make these dishes and stuff. So stuff like this, like oil, vinegar, radish you grow during the summer. Vinegar you have to make in a different device, and oil you have to make in a third different device, and that comes into this menu up here, which is your build menu. Again, just like the cooking, everything on this menu I could build, but I don't have the ingredients or the required resources in my inventory to create it at this time. But stuff like the loom makes cloth, as you can see in the description. Seed maker, self-explanatory. Mayonnaise maker, you put eggs in there to make mayo. Cheese, you put milk and stuff and eggs in there to make cheese. Bee house is something that's self-sufficient. It makes honey on its own. A keg, you can take different vegetables and fruits, toss it in the keg, and depending on what's in there, it takes certain in-game time to make beer and wine and other types of fruity beverages. Tapper, I'll show you what that is when we're outside, but that's just some of the stuff in the menu and everything. And there's tons of stuff going on. You make different seeds out of different things that you pick up on the farm. You can make seed packages. Slime egg press, we don't need to discuss that, or the incubator. Lightning rod, you build them and you set them outside when it rains, like it did yesterday, and hopefully we'll see when we go outside. The lightning rods collect lightning and they create battery packs, which you need for creating certain other devices. As you can see right here, battery pack, fire quartz coal. Same with this thing, the crystallarium that I was describing earlier. You need battery packs for that. And on top of it, Maru, the chick that we are looking at in the menu over here, she one of her favorite items is, or her loved items is, the battery pack. So I just leave those two lightning rods outside, and they collect batteries for me, or collect lightning to create batteries over time. So I have plenty of them to give to her a couple times a week. So outside here, you got all kinds of chests and stuff. I like to organize everything. These three right here are my vegetable crops that I put in. The silver ones for silver grade, copper for basic grade, and then gold is clearly, obviously, for gold grade. So I have those three for vegetables, these for fruit, and then these over here are for farm stuff like goat cheese or goat milk and cow milk and eggs. So every morning I come out, see if stuff's been grown overnight. It is pretty predictable. Everything has a specific amount of time it takes to grow. These peppers grew, they take about 4 days to grow, and as you can see when I pick them up, the stalks don't go away. Certain vegetables and fruits will keep growing, and after you pick them, so these once I pick these, they'll stay there, and they can take 4 more days and then they'll grow again. Other vegetables and fruits, as soon as you pick them, they go away. So the ones that you always want to try to plant are the ones that'll regrow after a couple days. So when the ground's dark like this, that means it's been watered. I came out, like I said before, and watered. These are some hops and stuff that grow on these vines. Again, something else that regrows over time. So what I do is I come out, grab all the fruit and the vegetables and shit off the trees, or off the plants and the vine things here. and then I either hold on to some of them if I think I need to build something or create something with them or make a dish with them. I'll hold on to them, and then other stuff I'll just you go up here. I'm going to run over real quick and grab the peppers that I have over here. So what I was explaining with the time-consuming part of watering was you have every piece of weaponry or tool that's in your inventory, you have all different levels of upgrade on it. And for the water example, I'll just use this. So like at level 1 you can only do 1 spot. Level 2, when you upgrade it, you can hold the button and do 3. Level 3 you can do a 5-liner. 4 you can do a square, and then once I upgrade it to the last level, which I haven't yet, it'll do 2 full 9x9 squares facing away from the character. So water is consumable. As you can see, there's a little bar down here. I have to go over to the water hole that's over on the right side of the rest of the crops there and interact with it and fill it back up. But the other tools, they don't degrade or anything like that over time. So over here, this purple thing that's in the middle here, it's called a sprinkler, and obviously it waters the crops on its own every morning. I don't have to interact with it at all. And just like the rest of the tools, for example, when it's level 1, it just waters the 1 square up, down, left, and right of the sprinkler. Level 2 will do a 9x9 square. Level 3, I believe this is level 3, and then it'll do a 5x5 square, which is super useful because then I don't have to worry about it. The tapper that I was talking about earlier, build them, put them under trees. There's 3 different types of trees that grow wild in the game and on my farm, as you can see. Got a shit ton of trees over here that I haven't really cut down. It takes a while to cut trees down because it uses energy. Over here on the right side, this is your energy bar, and everything that you do and interact with, most things tool-wise, takes energy. And it took a ton of energy to water just this big square of plants over here in the morning. And when you're cutting down trees and stuff, it takes a ton of energy. So you put the tappers on the bottom of the different trees, and you get different maple syrup, pine resin, and pine tar or some shit. And then there's a third thing out of the what do you call it? See if I got any of it. Now just maple and pine trees, and there's a third tree that I can't remember exactly what type of tree it is, but it's irrelevant. You use those items to create dishes, and just like the fruits and vegetables. So over here, these guys right here, scarecrows, they have a predetermined set grid that they keep crows and animals away from your crops throughout the day. But as an example, this whole square should look similar, but that last one right next to the sprinkler there looks a little bit different. That's because a crow came in and chomped on that before I put the scarecrow up. I just didn't get around to putting him up there. So when that happens, those crops don't do anything. They won't grow. They'll always look like that, and they're basically just dead. So these trees right here are some fruit trees that I grew. They take forever to grow. Got to keep the square around it clear or else it won't grow. So they're a little bit of a pain in the ass. Here's some beehives. These flowers, this flower right here is ready to be picked, but I left it there because if flowers are close enough to beehives, the beehives will produce honey of that specific type. So I always leave them there. Specific honey sells for more. Everything that you sell, you go up into this bin up here and you can just dump everything in there. The only disadvantage to it is you can take the last thing out that you put in there, but if anything beyond that, you can't get back out. So you got to be careful what you just randomly put in there. So just dump everything in there that I pulled. The grape is something I foraged. Foraged items you find throughout the game as you're walking around, and I'll show you as we take a walk into town here. There'll probably be something along the way, but you just pick them up because they're just randomly created and generated each night. And each season has all different types of forageable items. In all different types of crops. There's a few crops that you can grow multiple seasons, like right down here, these corn stalks right here. You can grow them in the summer and the fall. They'll just grow through for 2 months, and then a lot of the other stuff, most of everything else, like sunflowers won't grow, only grow in summer. The peppers only grow in summer. Blueberries, which is the that center section down there. Just dump the rest of this stuff out and I'll show you guys. So the blueberries are these guys right here. They only grow them in summer, and they're super profitable. That's why I got a big group of them in the middle here. So we'll take a walk into town. Usually what I try doing is, there's the journal right here. These are your current missions, I guess you could say. So periodically you'll get requests from people in town, like the mayor. He says he wants some truffle oil, blah blah blah. There's, bring Lewis a bottle of truffle oil. So these missions don't go away, but there are missions that you can accept that are time sensitive. They're a couple days. They're usually based off of some guy will say, hey, I need a certain resource, can you bring me a bunch of them? And you go there and you give it to him, and he you'll get like a monetary reward from it, and also friendship points towards that character. Certain things, since these don't go away, I'm not too concerned about them. Like for example, the mayor needs truffle oil. The only way I can make truffle oil is to buy a pig and then have a pig find truffles on the farm, collect a truffle, then put the truffle into a oil press, and then that will create the truffle oil. So 1, I don't have a pig. 2, I don't have an oil press, so it's going to be a while before I get to that one. This one is another kind of irritating one a little bit. This guy Demetrius, he's a scientist in the town. He needs a pufferfish. Pufferfish, I actually got to focus on this because, as you can see up here, it's Tuesday the 23rd, up in the top right corner. The pufferfish is a fish that you can catch in the ocean, and you can only catch it during the summer in between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. And on top of it, it's a super difficult fish to catch. So I've randomly caught one, but that's the only one I caught. And then, of course, I didn't have a need for it at the time, so I just got rid of it. So there's always a double-edged sword to hoarding things and getting rid of things. And if it's something that's easily accessible, I generally get rid of it or sell it. But things like this, I've grown accustomed to trying to hold on to. I caught a pufferfish last year when I first started playing the game, and in-game last year. But I got rid of it because I went like 2 or 3 months without having any need for it. So with fishing in the game, that's probably my only complaint with the game is the fishing aspect. So you get fishing rods in the game just like any other tool. It uses energy. Real quick, this lady's funny as shit. She's like the town drunk. She's always at the bar and stuff. So up here is this bus that she operates. You can take the bus to a different. You could take the bus to a desert area that has a character that you can interact with, and then there's a cave that you can go into and fight monsters and do some more mining, separate from the regular cave in this town. But the bus doesn't run. It's broken, and when you first start the game, it tells you, hey, the bus is broken. Someone's got to fix the bus. And then obviously throughout the game, you do certain missions and tasks for people, and you end up fixing the bus. But the funny thing is, one of her loved items is beer, because she's the town drunk. So like, if I have a beer, I'll come up here, and she stands at this bus from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and I'll come up and give her a beer at like 10 a.m. and she'll be like, oh, this is great, and she like drinks it right there, and it's just funny. It's like, she's just a big drunk, and she'll drink while she's driving the bus, I guess, but there's no penalty for doing so. It doesn't go that far into the joke, I guess. So this is the town, and real quick, this is an item, forgeable item. You pick it up, and there's stuff all over the place. Some certain seasons you can grab a hold of these bushes and interact with them, and they'll drop out fruit and shit like that. But another one right here. There's this Demetrius guy right here, the black dude. So every character in the game has specific things that specific routes that they take each day, and it changes per day, and it changes per season, and there's random events, like when it rains. Rain's a random roll every day except during festivals and stuff, because they don't ever rain out the festivals in the game. But everyone has different routes that they take. It's rare that they're different, but some days they'll go do something at a certain time or a different time. So like right there, if you jam up someone, you can they run faster, and then they give you the ability to run through you. The game gives you the ability to run through you, so they can keep up with what their timeline is for what they need to do each day. So just interacted with him because I'm close by. Whenever I'm near anybody in the town, I always just talk to them regardless of what they have to say, just because to keep the friendship level up and shit. But I don't know whether it's just one interaction or two. But anyway, so right here, Pierre's shop. This is a help wanted board. This is where periodically they'll post those events that I told you that are timed. They're always 2-day events, and it's always just like, hey, go get me this, or I need this. Half the time I have it in my inventory already back at the farm. Sometimes I have to go get it. Again, just the only one I have an issue with is one that's associated with the fishing. So with the fishing, you have the rod, like I was saying earlier. You have the rod, and it consumes energy, but there's no determination for what type of a fish that you catch. So every area has a specific fish. So like this being the river right here, I can only catch river fish in here. The ocean, you can only do ocean fish. There's lake fish, ocean fish, river fish. Then there's a sewer that you can go to and fish, and then there's also a glacier area to the east, or I'm sorry, to the west, but I haven't unlocked that yet. And then there's specific fish that you can only catch there. So the fishing mechanic kind of sucks because it's a mini game that you play, and when you cast the line out, I wish I had the rod. I should go get the rod and just show you, but this mini game pops up, and you have to like keep the bar within the fish moving back and forth on this bar, and it's super difficult to do because the bar constantly moves up and down, and the fish is like wild all over the frickin' place, and the difficult fish to catch are also some of the rarest to hit on. So there's like a compounded factor when it comes to hard fish to catch. There's fish that are super hard to even get, and then on top of it, you rarely ever have the chance to hit on them and to try to catch them. So there's mine carts and stuff that you can take. You can jump on it. It doesn't take any time. It fast travels you to wherever you're going. So we'll pull up the menu real quick and I'll show you. So you up here is the mine. We were right here. All right, and then I fast traveled up to here, and then from here that you can go in town here, fast travel up to the mine here. There's also a spot at the bus stop that was right above the bus you can fast travel to, and then there is I think that's it. Yeah, town, bus, and quarry. Oh, there's one more. Yeah, so the quarry is a slowly regenerated area that has stones and stuff. I'll just take you there real quick, just show you. But you can come here. Oh, awesome. So there's a cutscene that we're going to play through real quick. So as you work people's friendship levels up like this, you'll have different specified time and placement interactions and cutscenes like this. And apparently this guy I've worked up enough and had the correct circumstances to get this cutscene with him. So basically all this is sometimes you'll have questions that you have to answer that the NPCs will ask you, and depending on your response, you'll get different plus or minus friendship points. So this guy right here, he's not a town vagrant, but he's like this live off the land type guy, and he has this tent. And earlier in the game, I caught him digging through someone's garbage and stuff, and there was a big embarrassing thing for him. Yeah, so I wanted to say sorry for mistrusting you at first, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the town they don't hate him, but they're just kind of weirded out by him. They don't know what he's doing and stuff, and he's a recluse type guy. So most of these are unimportant, but I just, I follow through with them just because it helps with the friendship level. And of course, like I've said before, I'm a big trophy guy, so there's tons of achievements and stuff for getting people's friendship levels up. There's one for getting someone to level 10, there's one for getting 5 people to level 5, there's one for getting 10 people to level 5. So that I just go through with the interactions and stuff, and he's probably one of the least people that I have much of a thing for. Oh, and he wants to he wants me to come in the tent and show him something. Oh, that sounds really creepy. Oh, okay, cool. Fish bait. Oh man, some of the sound effects, I don't know whether the developer was doing a play on an innuendo with it or something like that, but that was kind of weird, going to the dude's tent and then hear a bunch of squishy noises and stuff. I want to show you something. Squishy noises, and then, oh, fish bait. Okay, so another example. This is a recipe that I got through a cutscene. That rarely happens. Most of the time they just come in the mail, and every morning if you have mail, there's a little mail icon above your mailbox. So learned how to craft wild bait, which is cool. Maybe that'll help me catch fish better. So, okay, so here's a quarry that we were trying to go to initially. So these are all stones and stuff. You can grab the pickaxe and you can, you know, hit each of them, interact with them. And as you can see down here on the right, I'll show you. So 77 takes a little bit of energy to do each of them. And I don't have a bomb on me. I'll see if I can craft one real quick. Nope. So there's a cherry bomb. There's a where's the other one? Oh, there it is, sorry. There's a bomb and then a mega bomb. So you can craft each of these items and you place them down, and they have, the bigger that the bomb is, the bigger radius it has, and it can hurt you. You'll place it down in an empty square, walk away, and then it'll like blow up everything in that square. And when it comes to the mining and stuff like this, it helps to clear out big piles of stone and stuff. So I'll come back to this at a later time and blow all that shit up, but it slowly regenerates back, comes back, and you can come back and collect resources from it. So like these sticks right here, you get wood from, stones you get stones from, and then these fancy looking things you'll get different, you get like special stuff, like that's iron ore, obviously, as it says it is. You have these down here which are copper ore, and then you'll have specialty rocks that look a little different. So this one takes a little bit to hit it up, but down here you'll see it says topaz. Those are minerals that you mine. Minerals they'll sell for more, and certain people in the town like specific minerals, so it's worth checking that out and seeing who likes what. So go back to the bus stop, head back to what do you call it? Actually, I'm going to go back to the town and show you the saloon, show you all the people that's in there. Saloon's open till midnight, and that's probably the place that's open the latest. So all kinds of cool stuff. There's a library right here, ice cream stand. The library you go into and you can interact with different things that you find in the game. There's artifacts and special minerals and stuff that you give to the library guy, and there's a big collection that you got to fulfill, and then you get you'll get items from him, furniture from him, and different. You'll get another item to like access the mine, or I'm sorry, the sewer and stuff. You have to give them a certain number of the required collectibles and stuff. So here's a saloon, here's a drunk lady, obviously, bartender, and you just interact with everybody, see what they have to say. And like I said, being in the town here, close to a bunch of people, I'll just like, you know, interact with them. So we'll block this guy right here, and I'll show you what I mean by he like runs through. See, the computer will try to work the characters around, but if you hold them up enough like this, see, then they just walk through you and they just try to buzz on and try to keep up with their in-game routine. So this guy here, Clint, he's the guy that's right by that minecart station we got to above the library, and he upgrades all your weapons and tools and stuff. He just upgrades your tools, not your weapons. Sorry. There are weapons you can buy when you're in the mine, because there's different creatures and stuff to attack and kill. But yeah, everybody has different personalities. There's an arcade game you can play. You can't play the pool table, but there's 2 arcade games you can play. This one's Journey to the Prairie King. It's kind of neat, but a little bit shitty at the same time. So, and then there's this one, which is like a endless runner type thing. You gotta jump over these sections here, and luckily I looked into it. There's no trophies for it, because these well, there is one for the Prairie King one, sorry, but not this one, because this one's kind of a little monotonous, and they're not very forgiving mini games basically. Yeah, like, yeah, it died, so I haven't played it much. But in this one, for some reason, you can't exit. Oh, there we go. I thought you couldn't exit out of that one earlier. So it's 11:30. You always want to go to bed before 1 o'clock, because if you don't, my energy bar down on the bottom, there's like a statistic to how much the energy bar will refill beyond 1 o'clock, and it's from 1 to 2 p.m. because after 2 p.m. you just pass out no matter where you are. And like it said, at midnight it reminds you, hey, it's getting late, you should go to bed. 2 o'clock you pass out no matter where you are, and then you wake up at your farm, and depending on who found you, some people will return you. Villagers will return you, but there's like a corporate grocery store chain that's like infringing on the town, and it's hurting the local businesses and stuff, because it's a shit in there super cheap, which ironically the stuff in the store is not cheaper than anything else you buy in the town. But if they find you, then they like charge you $1,000 to bring you back to your house and stuff, and you get a bill in the mail that you have to pay. So yeah, so after 2 p.m., definitely want to go to sleep. I was going to show you guys the chicken house and stuff. Let's see if I got a couple seconds to pop in there. So chicken coop. I'll open that up so they can come out in the morning. These are the chickens. They're sleeping. Got an incubator here cooking for some more, what do you call it, some more chickens. So I want to put some hay in here real quick because it was raining yesterday and they didn't get fed, so I want to make sure that they're good to go. So no, I don't want to eat them. I want to collect them. So I'll collect the eggs, different colored chickens and stuff, and then we're gonna run inside and get to bed before it gets too late. So yeah, so that's Stardew Valley in a nutshell. I might be posting another video about maybe going into the mine and checking out the other part of town, maybe doing some fishing and stuff. But yeah, it takes a ton of time to as you can see, the day went by really quickly. A lot of it was because I was talking and trying to explain things without holding into the menus like I was describing when I first started the video. But yeah, so definitely subscribe, like the video. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll try to have a part 2 and show you a couple other things that are going on with it. I'll put a link in the video and stuff. So any questions, leave a comment section below. We'll definitely talk about it on the podcast. And yeah, definitely check out Inverted Access. Look up Inverted Access on Castbox app, and if you don't have Castbox, download it, because that's where our podcast is only right now. We're definitely trying to work towards getting the podcast up on Google Play and iTunes, like we've been saying for months on the podcast, but we're eventually going to do it. Things are just slow, and we're super busy. The podcast is something we do in our spare time, and yeah, we don't always have a whole ton of time to be doing everything. So hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for part 2.